Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Jennifer Cruz on Real Time with Jennifer Cruz. Today, we have a very special guest. Before I go on to introduce the guest, I'm going to tell you about Real Time with Jennifer Cruz. Real Time with Jennifer Cruz is a time where we have people from various walks of life come in to tell us a bit about their careers and their profession, what they're doing to break grounds in the world, what they're doing to change their generation, and what they're doing to make a difference in the world. So today we have a very special guest. Her name is Andrea Graham. And guess who she is? She is a coach, a very important coach, teaching people about who they really are, telling them how they can go about their lives, their careers, their weak points, and their strong points. This is the job of a coach and much more. So today, as we talk with our minister, Minister Graham, she's going to tell us much more about what it's all about to be a coach. So we're introducing her now. Minister Graham, can you come in, please? Hello,
Hi.
Andrea.
Hi, Jennifer. Good to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. And I must apologize that I'm in a car, but I didn't want
No
to
problem.
put this off again. I'm in between events. I didn't want to put this off again. So thanks so much for the invitation.
No problem. It's nice to have you on the show today. This is Real Time with Jennifer Cruz, and today we have the great honor to have Andrea Graham on our show, a very important coach. She is a coach by profession, coaching people on how to go about things that they need to go about in their lives, how to change their lives, how to be better people, how to harness that God-given talent, and even those things that they have learned and direction in which they should flow and all that. She's going to give us a whole lot of, nuggets today. So just sit tight and listen to this wonderful program. So thank you so much. Can you introduce yourself, Sister Graham?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, introducing myself, I suppose I'm just Andrea. I'm a regular girl from Southeast London who loves to help women to live their best life, to live their authentic life, Jennifer. And my aim is to reach as many women that I can in this world before I pass on. Yeah. Helping them to look at what it is that they really want, and helping them and supporting them to know that by trusting in God, by going according to their his authentic voice, they can create the life that they want. I believe that with all my heart. That's what I'm about. I'm also about, as you know, I've developed my own jewelry collection, an inspirational jewelry collection also, which is an extension of what I do for women and others. I have four sons. My eldest is 30 years old, 28, 25, and 20 this year. And I also have two grandchildren. My granddaughter, she's 8 months, and my grandson, he is 2.5 years old. I'm also married, and yeah, I really thank God for his blessings. I've been with God now for, oh gosh, how old am I now? So I've been with him. I won't give away my age, not that I mind, but I've been with him for about 40. Is it 40? Oh no, 38 years. Been
Oh
with
my
God now.
God.
Yeah, 38 years. And I would not be without God. My faith, I tell you now, people, my faith is everything. Without God, I can do nothing. And that's where I come from. So I'm also a CIPD professional trainer, which is the Chartered Institute of Personal Development. And I've run my own business, working with governments, training their frontline staff, private sector also. And even though my specialism is personal development, I always come from the side when I can that personal development sits in the spiritual boat. It sits in the spiritual boat. It's based on, for me personally, it's based on, I think, God's foundations within that. So personal development is very much about the practicalities of how we live life. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. You're a bundle of miracles. This is really great, really great. Now, you've
Thank
actually
you.
given you've
Thank
given
you.
us an
Thank you.
exposition, a bit of exposition about you, and so now we want to be able to pinpoint
Hmm.
now you self-development of people. Tell us
Yeah.
a bit about that. I think
Hmm.
that in a nutshell is like coaching people to be their best self, isn't it? Okay. So tell us a bit
Yeah.
about that part of your life,
Okay.
not
So
your
the coaching
career.
area of my life. Okay, so the coaching area of my life. Currently, I help women by coaching. Coaching and training, they're two different things. So coaching is client led. So you would have a client that shows up and says, "Okay, Andrea, I need help to know what I want for my life." So as a coach, I will ask them the right questions. Questions are powerful. And sometimes it's because we don't know what questions to ask ourselves, why we don't get the answers that we need. So I ask them questions which enables them to bring about answers that they already have within them. So they really lead the sessions. In coaching, you can have client-led coaching and also direct coaching. So as a coach, I use both styles depending on what my client prefers and also depending on what my instinctively I sense they may need at that particular moment in time. So it's solution focused. So when you look at mentoring is do as I do, counseling is bringing people to the norm, and coaching is solution focused. So it's about the solutions that you want for your life. The coach will help you get you there. So I will help you to get to that solution that you want for your life. But
So
you do,
how
but
was it?
but you do all the work.
Oh my God, that's it, isn't it? That's the
You
trick behind it.
you do the
Yeah.
work. You have to
Hmm.
do the work. No one can do it for us. We have to be prepared to do the work on ourselves, because personal development is working on ourselves, is creating new habits, Jennifer, so that we can, because remember, you have heard that if you look at your habits, that's what's shaping your life. So when we create new habits, we're going to see a difference in our lives. But we must first be able to identify the habits that's holding us back. We must first be able to identify the limiting beliefs that could have come from our childhood that's holding us back. So within coaching sessions, to a point, I also help clients to identify those thoughts that can be holding them back, those convictions that can be holding them back from moving forward in their lives also.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful. Now tell us, in your work as a coach, are they, have there been
Mm-hmm.
people that really impacted and have really been able to change the direction of your lives and in the long run giving yourself some form of, satisfaction and fulfillment?
Yeah, there's many women that have gone on to do businesses, whether it's property development, whether it's childhood dreams of foster caring, looking after children because they may have been in care themselves and wanted to do that, but didn't have the confidence or a plan or strategy of knowing how to do these things. So whether it's whatever it is, the property development women have gone into, and also, something, Jennifer, we may look at what we do, but it, even more importantly, it's about who we are. Who am I? We aren't what we do. We are who we are regardless. We're a value regardless of what we're producing, of what we have, materialism. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's about
Yeah,
identifying what we are being as women or as men. Do you know what I'm saying? Being
yeah,
faithful, being trusting of God, being integrity, looking at those kind of natures and those kind of those kind of values, those that is first and foremost important. What are you being? Are you being peaceful? Are you mastering those emotions? Because that is what we produce. I say to my clients and just women that I know, if you look at your life, it's a mirror of what's happening from within. So in answer to your question, there's been women that have gone out and they have achieved things, material things, but But even greater for me, I've seen women that have come out of abusive relationships and moving forward in their life because they've got much stronger within themselves, or they've come out of a repossessed situation of a home and they've stood up on their 2 feet and they're moving forward because they have dug deep and they have not allowed the circumstances to tell them how to maneuver for the rest of their life. They're taking the authentic voice, which I call God. Some people call it a higher power. If we allow ourselves to respond to God's guidance, I promise you, you will see your life change. And I really believe, regardless of your credit, okay, regardless of, not saying that you mustn't get them. I'm branching on finances now. That's not my area, but just as an example,
Yeah.
not saying that you mustn't manage finances, right? But regardless of what your situation is, God can cut that red tape if you trust His voice, and you do as He say.
Wow, that's great. And from talking with
So
you, I find out that it's not all about only, the things written in the book about how to coach someone. It's like there's a mixture with some spirituality in what you do, because it's like you have this deep rooted spiritual connection with your maker, with God. And so it's like you mix it up and you use it in, talking to people and coaching people to be their better selves. Am I right?
you are right, yeah. And I mean, there's many coaches out there that they do it differently because you go from the place that you are, don't you? You speak from where you are, or you can help individuals from where you are. But I would
Yeah.
say that the good thing about a coach is that if, for instance, you were an investment banker and you needed coaching for your next goals, the good thing about coaching and coaches is that we don't have to be a specialist within the area that you're a specialist in, because it's the same principles that will get an investment banker or a nurse or a property development to their goals that we use. Do you know what I'm saying? So for
Yeah.
me, I do bring in my spiritual element comes in because of my experience. And so when I'm speaking to Christians, for instance, who have the same element, I can bring that in. However, I may be speaking to someone that doesn't have a spiritual element, but I do bring it in a different way, from a different angle, in respect for their beliefs and their structures for their lives.
Okay. But in the
Yeah.
long run, because of who you are really, I don't know, is it always very easy or a bit difficult if you're not a Christian for you to be able to, like, pinpoint some, key things about, this is Christianity, this is how God sees things, and if you actually do it this way, it might actually work out for you. Do you find yourself between, two a hard place and a rock sometimes when you are, dealing with people that are not Christians?
Um, what I would say is that God's universal laws are God's universal laws, and that's the reason why we sometimes hear people say, "Gosh, how comes that person's not a Christian but they're so successful in material things?" It's because many people that may not be a Christian but may believe God, they are acting throughout with God's laws, and God has to honor His laws regardless of who you are, because it's His laws. Do you know what I mean? So for me, if I'm working with someone that isn't spiritual, but I can see that, what, they don't realize this, but they're working within God's laws, hence why they're getting the results that they're getting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can kind of tease it in because there is a trust there, but I won't intrude. Like how the Holy Spirit will not intrude in someone's life, I will not intrude in somebody's life either. Do you know what I mean? But I will introduce certain elements, and if they want to accept that or begin to use that, then they can. But if not, I totally respect that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So then what keeps you going? What gives you this drive, to do what you do despite, challenges that we see every day out there? What gives you this
Oh
drive to
man.
go on?
Oh man. What drives me? What drives me before was my children. So when I was raising my boys, it was my children that really drove me. But they're now grown. They're grown now. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what now, Lord? Who's gonna drive me now? And but what it is, but I think for me, what it is, I now have my grandchildren, and also it's about, okay, Andrea, you've raised your boys, and as a parent, you're always a parent, but you just use a different parenting style. But now I've got more time to by God's grace, impact the world as much as I can within my world, within my bubbles. And so, it's given me space. So yeah, what drives me now is my purpose in God and my responsibility for my gifts, and making sure, Jennifer, that procrastination don't stop me, that past hurts don't stop me. Do you know what I'm saying? That limiting beliefs don't stop me. I need to be focused on those talents that God has given to me that I can continue to multiply. Just so it's obedience. I suppose obedience is what really drives me now.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
and,
I
and
mean,
also and also saying that, Jennifer, you have many gifts. A gift is to be given away. It isn't, when we have a gift, it's not for us. We need to find ways, to fill those vessels, to fill those jars. Remember when the king knocked on the lady's door, and she was asking, I think it's in Kings, I can't remember, Second Kings, and she said, look, my husband died, and they're going to come and they're going to take my two sons because I owe X amount of money. And he told her what to do. He said, okay, go out, to the village, etc. I'm summarizing, and go and get the vessels and bring them in. And he asked, how much, what do you have in the house? And she said, I haven't got nothing. But she said, I've got a little bit of oil. But having those vessels, our gifts, we must go and get those, we must create the ways to use our gifts. Like those vessels, she had to get her sons to bring them in. And the more ideas, or the more ways we find to use our gifts will continue to develop, just like the oil continued to pour. The oil did not stop pouring until the vessels run out. So if you're finding yourself that you're bored, find a way to use your gifts, because from where you are.
wow, that's great. That's really great. Now, a question comes in. It's like, as whatever gift you find yourself, you have, it's all about the person himself, isn't it? A gift has been given to you. Some people have many gifts. As a coach, how would you really advise people, in times of when they feel that they don't know what to do, how to go about things, or they feel depressed, and how will you now encourage people like that to keep on going and keep on looking for other projects to do, keep on, to bring themselves out of whatever situation they find themselves and push themselves to do these things?
Okay, so here's what I will share with you, because I always come from the place of my own experience. So people, some people will say, well, yeah, well, you can say that because what have you been through? Yeah. What I always say to myself, no matter what I find myself in, and I have found myself in some dire situations in the past: threatened repossession of houses, miscarriage, multiple deaths in my family, yeah, and many other things that I found myself in the presence of. And the question simple question, Andrea, what do you want? So the question I will ask to somebody that's going through something right now, you might really feel down, or you might feel like you're being challenged. I'm going to ask you this question. What do you want? What do you want? What outcome do you want? Forget about what you're feeling. Forget about what your circumstances is telling you. If you knew you couldn't fail, if money was no object, if the people that was around you wasn't around you, what do you want? Write that down. Write down what you want right now. And then I would ask them, okay, that's what you want. What's the first step you need to take? Okay, to begin to move towards that outcome. Okay, it's this, Andrea. Okay. And then what will you do after that? Um, I'll do this. Okay. And then what will you do after that? And before you know it, they begin to create a plan in the desert and mess that they're in for their whole oasis. Because remember, the mind cannot tell the difference between reality and what isn't real. Yeah. The mind is a powerful thing. So I take them out of their situation to what is it that you want? Look ahead. What do you want? And help them to focus on their outcome until they believe that they can get that outcome, and until they become. I believe that's what knowing is. When you know that God is with you, when you know that God is going to give you something, you become what you've asked for. So no one can tell you. It's like when the Bible talks about you fix your face like flint. No one can tell you left or right that it's not going to happen. You already know because you've received it. It's on you. You're walking as if it's already done, but it's done. Faith is the things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And so I just help them to move forward. And before you know it, as long as they keep accountability and they have the support, they will see the outcome. But they've got to focus on the outcome that they want, not what they don't want.
Ooh, focus on what you want and not what you don't want. That's a big
Yeah.
one. That's really a
Because
big one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because Jennifer, the mind doesn't see the don't. It just sees the target you give it. Remember, we're working with spirit, mind, and body. And so, what we have
Yeah.
to remember when Paul talks about tearing down the strongholds of the mind, it's because he knows how powerful our minds are. So, if we're when you look at faith and fear, Jennifer, right, it's pretty much the same thing. You can believe. Fear is believing. So, if you're fearing something, you're creating something. If you have faith for something, we're creating that something. Do you understand? So it's
Yeah.
important for us to live from faith and not from fear,
Mm-hmm.
because we're going to create whatever it is, as you know, that we're wherever the places we're believing from, that's what we're going to be creating.
Yeah. So we must actually act in faith and look in faith, not in fear.
Act
So
from
when
that
we do
place of
that,
faith.
yeah, when we do that, then things actually begin to, open up and unfold, isn't it?
Definitely. Definitely. As you know, definitely.
That's it. So, in your own ministry, as a coach, as a trainer, as a mom, as many things that you are, have you faced challenges that have really defined your career or who you are?
Yeah, I mean, some of what I mentioned earlier, going through repossession, actually, threat and repossession, and going through a breast cancer scare as well. I was married for 22 and a half years and I was divorced as well. So there's many things that I've been through where I've had to make certain decisions. But all the way, what I'm saying to your listeners right now is I have God with me. And I ask him, okay, some of the things I tend to ask is, okay, what has this come to teach me? What lesson do I take out of this particular experience right now? Okay. I also look at Jennifer, when you talk about shaping, I go back to God's word and what he's saying to me about that particular situation. And sometimes it's not comfortable what he's asking me to do, but I do it regardless because I know it's the right thing. So it's shaped me in a way to trust God even more. And I can say to that's why I can say to individuals 100%, whatever you want for your life, right? You can have it. Whatever you want to create for your life, you can create it. The caveat, as they say, is faith in God and having God with you along the way. Acknowledging, bringing God into the picture of everything. God's word says that when you acknowledge God in all your ways, He'll bring about the success for you. And listening to what He's saying. So my experiences has shaped me over the years from the age of 15. I'm now 53. I don't mind saying my age, to the age that I am right now. Okay. It's just helped me to get much stronger in my relationship and more obedience with God. That's how these challenges have shaped me. And I'm very open about my challenges because I want to help people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I show my scars so that others may heal. That they know
yeah,
that, you know what, if you're going through this, guess what? You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be
yeah,
okay. You're going to be okay. Just even if the light is tiny, focus on that little light and keep moving towards that light and ask God,
yeah,
what's next, Lord? What do you want me to do? And do
yeah,
that. Manage your emotions. Manage your emotions. Don't move out of your emotions. Move out of what God is saying to you today, now. And that's
yeah,
how I've lived. That's how I've lived,
yeah.
Jennifer.
Wow, that's awesome, really awesome. So now another question, because I believe that in what you do also, it's like as much as okay, we say it's a career, first and foremost, sometimes it's actually a talent that God has put in us, that we're actually, refining and enhancing and making better so that we can use it in the most professional way. Okay, so now how can you use whatever career you find yourself or whatever talent you have, how can you use it to become a legacy to your generation to come?
How can you use it to become a legacy
How
to
can
your
you make your
generation?
talent a legacy?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So
Yes, generations to
what
come.
we'll be leaving behind, right? So depending on what it is that your talent or your gift that God's given you will depend on the shape and the forms that you leave behind. Do you know what I mean? So for
Yeah.
instance, in our case of we may be coaches, trainers, etc., I need to write that book. It's recorded. I need to do more recordings. It's recorded. So you can believe in that as recordings for people to listen to. But I also need to begin to pour in even more into the younger generation, impart what it is that I have. Do you know what I'm saying? Into those generations and teach them to pass it on. Do you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? There's other
Yeah.
areas whereby something, depending on what it is that your area of talent is, if it's mechanical, again, it's about passing that on to the next generation. It could be you're building a museum of some sort. You know, there's many museums that's been left as legacies for people to go into to learn from people that have created many different inventions that they've left behind for us to be able to go into. I'm trying to think of some as we talk,
Mm-hmm.
for us to go into and actually learn from. So it's about us looking always, how can I leave this behind? What can I do? And in relation to your own personal talent, you will be told. So it's and also looking at the people that have gone ahead of us, what have they done, and does that relate to our giftings? So some
Mm-hmm.
people, some people, it might have been, the Prince's trust that we might have set up, to be
Mm-hmm.
left behind with things like that, books, trusts, recordings, organizations. It all depends, but there are clues that are left behind for us to be able to take from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what you're saying in essence is that in whatever talent or in whatever clique or whatever niche you find yourself in, just look around and look at the people that have gone ahead of you. What have they done? So what have they, how have they, what kind of legacy have they left behind? And then you can like build yours on them or look for some other ways to and and reach yours or stuff like that.
Yeah, and but the most important thing is, if it's something that it can be duplicated, to begin to duplicate that what you have in others. You know what I mean? Start, if you have children, start with them first. And I say that because, sometimes people might be looking outside of what they can do, but our first call is to our home. Our first call is to our
Yes,
family. Do you know what I'm saying? So
yes.
deal with that area first. Those that want it, yeah, in the
Hmm.
family, because not all the family's going to want what you got. So deal
Yeah.
with that area first, and branch out openly to the rest of the world.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because there's nothing like actually leaving a legacy, so that even after you're gone, people would know
exactly.
that someone was here, someone
Exactly. It's
actually went through.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping to. I mean, I run an organization called Authentic Woman, and that's been going since 1999. And my goal is to be able to duplicate what it is that I do in other women, so they can begin to duplicate in others, for women to live an authentic life. Basically,
Yeah.
just the principles that I've used in my lives and that other women have used in their lives, that
Mm.
can be passed on, so that when I'm gone, Authentic Woman is still going, or at least the principles are still going in individual women in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So, um, there's I spoke to someone once and he told me that, his father died. And I said, okay, where is a picture of this guy? And they couldn't find a picture of this guy that is dead and gone. Okay, because the guy did not actually do anything that the world will say, okay, this is what he did. For them to have a reason to keep a picture of him somewhere, so
okay,
that people can always see and say, okay, this guy went through this world, he
yeah,
passed through this place. So I think
mm,
that's what Real Talk with Jennifer Cruz is, all about. To
yeah,
for people to understand that we have to actually leave a legacy behind for the generations to come. We have to make a statement with our lives. We can't just come and go without affecting our generation, are affecting people around us. So that's why we're saying, okay, we're picking people from different, fields of life to come and tell us, how can we actually be our best self here on earth? and be able to impact people around us and people that are even going to come after us. Okay? So that is what we're all about now. So the next question I'm going to ask you is now, what would you say is a path to breaking grounds in whatever career you find yourself? How can you break new grounds? How can you, really make it, different, or how can you make yourself stand out in, whatever you find yourself doing?
Okay, so how can you make yourself stand out in whatever you make? Okay, so the first thing again, I'll always go back to being your true self, looking at what it is that you truly want within your career, and understanding the purpose of of your career, your life, your ministry, whatever it is. There's only like one life, and it's your purpose, what you're about. What is
Yeah,
it that you're about, and staying true to that lineage of what's inside of you. um you'll have many people that might give you examples. Someone might keep saying to you, gosh, you're very sensitive, or you're very good at this, or you're very good at that. And many people are doing that out there, but you do it like this. Listen out for those clues that people may say, but you also have to know for yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? So how can you stand out, Jennifer? By being true to yourself, and having courage to respond to what you're hearing in your heart. Because many times we get original. I mean, okay, Ecclesiastic says that nothing's new under the sun, but there's an angle to which may not have been done for a long while, that might seem new. But then when you go back in history, you realize, oh, actually, that was done then, how many hundreds of years ago? Um, the way to break through, I think personally, is really listening keenly and having the courage to respond to what you're hearing. Don't
yeah,
procrastinate. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Doing so many things, having the courage to respond quickly to what you are hearing and go for it. Do you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? If you're sitting down in your workplace, for instance, and you hear, go to the COO and go speak to him about this, whatever. Okay, there might be a protocol way to about doing that, but set it up, listen to what's being said, because the thing is, remember, God knows what's happening in the background of things, of areas. He knows why he will be moving you then and now to do that particular conversation with that COO, for instance. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
breaking new ground is having the courage to be you, having the courage to be true to you and to your plans, to what you see, and continuing to do that, and watching how doors open for you. Continue to be
Wow.
true to you. It's about being
Wow.
true to your grain,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
not having the goals of somebody else, or not trying to copy somebody else. Being true to your grain.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying that from what you're saying is it's like I'm hearing that don't second guess yourself. Is it
No,
possible? Yeah.
no, don't second guess yourself. I mean, we all second guess ourselves many times. But the more we step out in courage, knowing that, remember, courage is, the ability to take action in the presence of fear. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The more we strengthen our ability to take action in the presence of fear, we will
Mm-hmm.
become more thicker, much more thicker. Our road will become more thicker in relation to the trail that we're leaving behind, because we're
Yeah.
not we're not lagging back by fear. We're actually moving
Mm-hmm.
forward with courage in the presence of fear, to do what it is that we're called to do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's really it. Wow, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Because there's so many people out there that want to do things, but one thing or the other is holding them down. They have these ideas, great ideas in their minds of what they want to do, but there's so many limitations here and there, and they find themselves in one point not doing those things that are dropping in their spirits. Do this,
Hmm.
do that, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So, what kind of encouragement will you give to those kind of people? Because some people just tell you, "Oh, I don't know what to do. I just have
I
this idea, but I don't
understand.
know how to go about it." So, what do we do? What do you say to these people?
It's lovely hearing you said it. I've got a couple of clients that's come back to my memory, that I'm actually working with at the moment, who said they're in 9 to 5 jobs. And they came to me and they said, Andrea, but I want to be doing this. I want to be doing this right now because I love it and I want to earn money from it. And so just watching even their journey over the last 6 months and, seeing them do their showcases, seeing them get, clients, beginning to get clients and just with their 9 to 5s, doing what they love alongside their 9 to 5 and building that, it is about making a decision about what it is that you want and taking that first step. What's the first thing that you could do towards what it is that you really want? So, because what you're saying to me, Jennifer, is that it ain't that they don't know what to do. They know what they want, but there's a fear that says, "But how on earth am I going to be able to do that?" Because they're looking at the circumstances. But what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying to them today is again, I'm going back to that simple question that we use in coaching. Okay, what do you want? Write it down. What is it that you want? If you knew you couldn't fail, if money was no object, what would you want your life to look like? I'm talking about in your service, servanthood, in your service to in through your gifting. What would you want it to look like? Right. And what again, I'm going back to the same question. And what would be the first step that you would take? Take that step straight away. Because
Straight away.
it's not money. Sometimes, well, I need this money, Andrea. No, 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 no. There's many people, including myself, that if we waited for money all now, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. The money will follow. It will
Yeah.
come.
Yeah.
But take the
Yeah.
first step with what you have in your hand now. The little bit
Yeah.
of oil that the lady for in Kings, that she actually said she didn't have nothing. I've just got a tiny bit of oil. If she hadn't said to him, I've got just a tiny bit of her oil, she had something. And he said, okay, begin to pour the tiny bit that you have then into the jars I told you to go and get. And it will continue to pour because I believe, Jennifer, that God honors your steps. I
Oh,
believe that as you walk, the resources are
yeah.
already there. The resources will come to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The people will show up.
Mm-hmm.
And you also need to show up. You
Yeah.
understand? Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
do. Yeah.
it will time and time again, Jennifer, I'll tell you now, I started Authentic Woman because when I was 28 years old, I felt that I had lost myself. I had my third child. I was an associate minister because I'm also an ordained pastor. So we were running churches, etc. And I had my 3 children at that time. And I just had my third child and I went to go to the corner shop, Jennifer, and I had to turn back and get my 5-year-old. I didn't feel like I was confident enough to go to the corner shop. I said, God, what is this? What is this? I'm helping to train people at churches and leaders. I'm doing this, but I feel really, really, shook up to go to the corner shop. I had allowed my identity to become my motherhood, my pastoralhood, my wifehood, except my hood, except me. So I had to begin to find who Andrea was, Andrea and God, not what I do, but who I am in Him. And that's
Yeah.
the reason why Authentic Woman was birthed. But the reason why I've gone back to that story is to tell you this. I then decided that I wanted to train women. And to do that, I thought, how do I do that? So I thought, let me go and get trained up. So I trained as a trainer first, not as a coach, as a trainer, professional trainer. So I could help the women to begin to put into practice, for instance, what we teach from the pulpit, how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
also, and also as a professional, how to begin to walk in your professions. And what happened from me doing that, Jennifer's taking that step out to steward my gift so I could serve women, and I was doing it for free at that time. I then came into a community of bankers, of people that work for like British Airways and those professional people. I was a legal secretary at the time, and they talked to me about the training and professional training, etc. Anyway, cut long story short, I went on to be a trainer, and I started to earn in one day what I was earning before in 1 month. Yeah. So when I say use what you have and begin to step and things will come to you, I will never say to my members at Authentic Woman, I don't tell you about things that I haven't experienced.
Yeah.
So when I'm saying to you, use what you have, no matter how small it is, begin to
Mm-hmm.
step, watch God meet you. Stay
Mm-hmm.
faithful in those steps and watch Him meet you. It will begin to
Wow.
just crescendo and crescendo. Stay pure and stay real in your motive. It will begin to crescendo and crescendo.
The key word is don't second guess yourself. Don't ever do that.
No, You
It's not.
listen and you respond to his guidance. Respond
Yeah.
to his guidance.
Yes. Yes. That's it. That's it. So now, there's a part of the Bible that talks about writing down the vision and running with it. Because from talking with you now, I hear you saying things like that. Put it down in writing. Put
Oh
it down in
yeah.
writing. What you
Oh
want to do,
yeah.
put it down in writing. So now, that's a big, it means that the Bible is actually true. So the vision
Oh
is what I'm
yeah.
supposed to you know, run with it, write it down, don't leave it, because sometimes if you don't put it down in writing, you might just forget it. It's just like a song that's coming up in your head. You hear the song in your head and you're humming it. And at that point in time, if you don't record it down, put it down somehow, record it, you might just forget it the next minute and all that. So tell us a bit about, these things now. These things that we're supposed to be doing, these things that we have in us, these ideas that come into our heads and everything. Is it, a good idea for us to like, put them down in writing so that, even if we can do it at this moment in time, we can do it in the future.
Of course. Okay. If you needed to start a business right now and you wanted, for argument's sake, 100,000, your banker's going to ask you for a plan, a business plan.
Yeah,
He's going to
that's
want to see your cash flow forecast. So when the Bible's talking about write your vision down and make it plain, it weren't the banker that had it first. Yeah, there is a real foundation behind this, and it's
yeah,
also been proven. Harvard Business School, I think, proved that when we write things down, it has a neurological impact. It does something neurologically to the brain as well. So all these things about writing things down, and also we're able to measure as well. When we write the vision down, then we write down our tactics, our goals. We're able to measure where we are. We're able to look at, okay, have I reached that goal yet? Okay, no. Okay, what can I tweak so that I can get there? It helps as a measurement, but it's also a neurological tool as well. It's a very powerful tool to write things down. But the Bible says you got to write the vision and make it plain. So it's something that we must be doing. Something that I advise women to do is journaling. I've been journaling from, I think it was, 11 years old. And I still journal. I didn't call it journaling then. I didn't know what it was. I just wrote my little diary. Back in my day, you could get these little A6 books with a little lock on it. And I used to write my little words in there. And I've never stopped. I'm 53 now. And that's probably 40 years. Because you can put everything down, what you're hearing, your day, and you also grow from it as well. And when you look back on it, you can see where you've grown from as well. So writing down in a journal is very powerful. But back to your question, Jennifer, yes, write the vision down. It doesn't have to be all neatly done. Just start writing how you want to see your life. Start from there and just keep writing. Just write it down. Just keep writing it down, and then looking at the steps that can be done. But in my workshop, Get Clear, Stay Clear, I do I use a material, an exercise which is called the life map. Some people call it a vision board, but it's different because it comes from the subconscious, where I get women to go through magazines and not cut out pictures of what they see consciously, but anything that moves their heart, don't question it, just cut it out. And what it does, Jennifer, it helps us to understand what's going on in our subconscious mind, because remember, we're not acting from our conscious mind. The actions we take is from our subconscious mind, where our beliefs are, where our limiting beliefs are, and also empowering beliefs are. That's where we take action from. And it's important to understand what's happening down there so we know what to reprogram, we know what to reframe. What I mean by reprogram and reframe is, for instance, if we say something like, if we realize, someone might say, "Oh, I am not good at such and such." I help them to reframe that particular word by saying, "Okay, I am good at da 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 da." That's very, very elemental, simple explanation I've just given you there, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but going back to your question, writing things down, journaling is a really good thing. If you don't journal, begin to journal, even if it's once a week. Every day is great, but even if it's once a week that you just write down how you're feeling, how you're thinking, what you might have heard in your spirit if you're a Christian, or what have you just heard intuitively. If you're not a spiritual person, just write down. It's a real powerful tool.
yeah. Positivity. I just heard that from you. being very positive about, no matter how it looks like, being
Yeah.
positive about it. Don't say any of the negative things. What you're saying might not be what you're saying, will not be or should not be what you're saying most of the time. The negative
Yeah,
things, don't say them. Say what
definitely.
you want to.
Say what you want. That is a key to. I've just created a video actually, and that's a key to manifestation.
Mm.
Your circumstances might be telling you one thing, but it's very important for your confession, for what you be saying, that lines up to the outcome that you're seeing. So yeah, you're not. You might think, oh, Andrea, I'm being mad though because my circumstance is saying this. You're in
Mhm.
control of your circumstances. You have
Oh, yeah.
authority to shape that because we have been made in the image of God. We are creators. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you line up your confession, what you say, with your with the outcome that you want, and that also includes who you hang around with, Jennifer. If you're hanging around with some people, with all respect, that isn't
Yeah.
that isn't pouring into where you're heading towards, you need to begin to take those people and don't. I'm not saying to cut them off. If you want to, that's up to you. But I'm saying take them in small doses and go find some new people that are ahead of you. That's going to help you to begin to be even more of what you see and what the outcome is that you want.
Wow, wow, wow. Andre, this has been a very wonderful one today. Real Talk with Jennifer Cruz. This has been Andrea Graham.
Thank
Wonderful,
you.
wonderful. It's been a wonderful talk today. I don't know, you out there, what you've heard today that is going to shape in your life. And remember that Real Talk with Jennifer Cruz is all about breaking new grounds. It's all about enhancing your life, making your life better, a better you. That is what we're all about in this program. That's what we bring in different people from different walks of life. Today, we've spoken to Andrea. She's a very versed person. She's a coach, she's a trainer, and she's also a minister in the gospel. You see, a combination of so many things that actually, if you listen to her speak, your life will never remain the same. Just like me today, I've listened to so many things. I've heard many things today that I know that I'm not the same person again. So thank you so much for being here today. I don't know who you want to appreciate for being here. I mean, people that have really helped you in your ministry and people that have really, been a part of who you are now. Are there people that you want to appreciate before we go?
Oh wow, yeah, I was expecting that, but yeah, yeah, people. I mean, most importantly, God. He's everything to me, and my children. They are. I'd say the four men that really shaped me, that really drive me, and what caused me to shape my life, because I realized that I had to pour in so that I could pour into them.
Yeah,
Because I can't give what I haven't got. And also my husband right now, and my former husband, and my bishop, Bishop Wayne Malcolm, amazing bishop who, has helped me as well, and my older brother. There's so many people that I could say, my sisters, I could say that I want to appreciate. There's so much different, the women of Authentic Woman who are the reason why I'm here today, fulfilling my purpose. So yeah. And thank you, Jennifer, for the invitation,
oh,
for inviting me here. I'm really honored to be in this conversation with you. And thank you so much. And also to
thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Pastor Chris also is in the background. So if you want to
Pastor
say,
Chris. Thank you, Pastor Chris. I was going to say thank you so much, sir, for your time and, for your platform and your space here. It's been an honor. And I hope
yeah.
that it has helped many that's listening in. Thank you so much.
Pastor Chris, you want to say something to Sister Andrea?
Yeah, I don't have so much. I think we really enjoy your time. I think we are going to bring you more often for more coaching. I think we are going to call you personally so that we can also see on how we can be able to help our people. Thank you so much for being our
Thank
speaker.
you so much.
God
Thank you.
bless you.
It's an honor, sir. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Okay, today's been wonderful. Thank you so much, Andrea Graham, for being a part of Real Time with Jennifer Cruz. God bless you, real good. Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Jennifer. It's been great being here. Amen.
Okay,
Okay. Bye bye.
bye.
Bye. Bye bye.
Kingdom Radio.